Right. Good afternoon, Garrett. How's everything going your way?
Good. Happy Tuesday, sir. And happy Thanksgiving week. Hope everyone's doing well.
Getting a whole lot of work done before Thursday, Friday. So
That's right.
excited to kind of show off what we have down for our content for this month's power session, which will be on the cash flow forecasting tool. Kind of go through the setup, the usability of it, and this will be 15-20 minutes of content for you guys just to kind of walk through like I said, the use of it. And then we'll address some questions that you guys may have. If you want to put them in the chat, if you want to wait till the end to ask questions, feel free to type them up. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. I'm sure we'll have some more people join in, and we'll be sure to fill in like I said, any questions that we have. So, like I said, for today, we're going to be going through our cash flow forecasting tool within the financials component of ProNovos. We'll go through a little bit of the setup. We'll go through, point out all of the key features of the cash flow forecast and how it's going to help, anyone who may be doing it manually. I know a lot of people that I've talked with have done this previously in Excel or some sort of report outside of the accounting system. So, we just want to make you guys aware. And if you guys haven't been using it, point out the features, and, hopefully this can be something of great value to you guys. So to locate the cash flow forecasting tool, now given you have permissions here, would be under the financials module on the left-hand side. And then we would see the cash flow forecast option here. So when we click it, it's going to go ahead and open up the tool here. Now, one thing to point out, there is a little bit of setup to make sure that we have our cash accounts, our line of credit defined within the cash flow forecast tool. So to make sure that you have these picked accordingly, we would just make sure we go into the settings icon at the top. There's also a spot under administrator as well. But what you'll find here is all of I think it bases it off of all the cash counts, or maybe asset accounts might be a better way to explain it. But then you'd be able to pick and choose which cash accounts we want to show in our forecast tool. So the ones that, we'll be able to, that are used for your AP, for your receivables, for payroll, things that we want to show as on-hand cash, right? So once you make your selection, we've got them all picked here. The right-hand side will allow you to put in what your total line of credit is going to be, and then which accounts are going to basically eat at that balance. So whatever the total line of credit that you have available to you would go in this box. And then based on your balances in the accounts on the right-hand side, it would, chip away at that number, right? So very minimal setup, pretty quick to get it going. So once you have everything selected here, you can go ahead and hit save. And then we can open up the cash flow forecast tool again. Now, what you'll see down below as we scroll through let's start with the chart, right? So the chart will just kind of show you week over week, month over month, what our cash balances are. And anything in this gray shaded area is going to be future cash based on the information that we'll look at down below. So we can see, each week's which ones are net positive, which ones are net negative. But we can see that cash is increasing or decreasing based on the information we're going to put in down below. Okay. So as we scroll through here, the first set of KPIs here is just going to sum up all the balances in the cash accounts that we have listed out. So we picked 4 of them. Here's the balance in each one of those. And then it would tell us our total on-hand cash in the current trial balance box here. Okay. The line of credit available. So what this is telling us is based on, we had $2 million in total line of credit, and well, we're looking good. We've got an extra 100,000 laying around, but this would show us how much is remaining of that $2 million line of credit. So based on the 2 accounts that we had selected, In this case, we're showing a negative balance in one of them, so that's why it's increased here. But this would give you a quick check on what our current on-hand cash is and what our line of credit available is as well. Okay.
Sure.
Now, as we scroll through here, we would see our couple of different boxes, and you can click into these. So the forecasted beginning balance is just going to say, all right, take my starting cash, plot it here. And then based on all the inflow, all the outflow, it's going to show what our cash is going to be over those next 13 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, I know that the inflow, we can drill down on that. Do we have the ability, to adjust dates and project out like that?
Yes, we can. So when we click into the inflow, by default, you'll just see the AR collections section. These are all the user-defined options you can put in there for additional income over the next 13 weeks as well. So we'll start with the AR collections. What this will show you is the outstanding receivable balance for each one of those weeks based on when we expect to receive money for those outstanding invoices. So if you want to see a little bit more detail behind it, you can always click into it, and then it would show us all the invoices that make up. So we have 596,000 in receivables that are due this week or prior is how the first box will be. And then everything else will be based on what that projected payment date is for that particular invoice. Okay. So one thing you can do with these is manage that projected payment date. So from the accounting system, the invoice date, the due date will pull in directly from, like I said, the accounting system. We can't manage those, right? We don't want to change any of the data from the accounting system. So we have this additional projected payment date for each invoice. So if I wanted to say, for example, this $66,000 invoice here, we have it projected to be paid October 11th. In this case, we're a little bit past it. So let's go ahead and update this one. We can click right on that date. It would give us a little summary box of, what the current projected payment date is. Let's say we want to move this down to the first week of December. So we're going to move it from October 11th to December 6th. Now, if I wanted to type in any notes, mark a reason why we're adjusting this date, maybe we're waiting on approvals, whatever the case may be. But once we hit save, we'll see that 596 or whatever the balance was there, we can see that it trimmed it down and we have moved it into the week of December 1st in this case. So it'll be the start of the week. Everything is in there. If I put it to December 8th or 15th, we would have seen it move it into those buckets. Okay. So
got it. Now, how's that flow to our chart above?
So the chart above, yep. Once we make those adjustments here, we can scroll on up and we can see that now for that week of December, for this week, we have a little bit less cash flow, right? And now we've moved it into December 1st. So now we're seeing an increase in net cash flow because we expect to receive more payment for that particular week.
Awesome. I love it.
So with the additional fields, you can manage each one of the individual invoices here. Then you can also plot in any additional, in this case, since it's the inflow, any additional revenue items. So in this case, we've plotted in, rental income is 15 grand a week. We've said equipment rental is every other week. So if you want to add anything into this chart, we can click the add button here. We can give it a name. We can say, okay, it's, let's just say it's service work and we expect to get $25,000 a month. And so we want to plot it from today, and we'll say for the next 3 months, we expect to get 25 grand a month for service work, right? So when I hit save, it'll add our line item down there. We started it this week, and then every month we expect to see that 25,000 come in. So that way, if you're looking to plot in additional items in there to get a more realistic number for all the cash flow coming in, you can plot as many of these as necessary. Okay. So the next section is going to be the outflow. Similar, right? Like we saw with inflow, we had the AR collections. For the outflow, we have the AP payables. So you would be able to manage each of those buckets the same way. So if you click into it, it would show you the invoices. We can manage those projected payment dates, and then it would move those balances accordingly as well. So Garrett, I got a question for you. When we're looking at this with clients, what has been the response for, you know, those clients that are heavy users of the cash flow forecast? How do you think it impacts their visibility into, you know, how much money's coming in, how much money's going out?
I mean, the feedback has been positive. It kind of takes away, you know, the guesswork and gives you a clear view of the overall financial health, I should say. And you know, it just gives you that real-time update, and you know, it takes all the unknown out of the future. So get granular down there in the inflow and outflow, and then you have your chart at the top that really gives you that broad overview and shows you what direction you're headed. So I think overall it's been pretty positive.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, we've seen a lot of clients that come off of using spreadsheets or different versions, you know, exporting data from their accounting system. So hopefully with having a tool like this, being able to plot it, see it visually, not only just numbers on the screen, but, you know, with the charts up above, the snapshot of how much money is coming in the door versus going out the door, we can track what that cash flow is going to look like. Now, this does integrate with the AR collections and AP payables module as well. So if you weren't managing the projected payment dates directly in the cash flow forecast, you could always, you know, if we have others that maybe they don't see the cash flow forecast, right? Maybe they're able to see the collections or the payables. They could go in for their invoices here, manage those projected payment dates over on the right-hand side, and any updates that they make here will be reflected within the cash flow forecast as well. Right. So hopefully it's not one person managing everything. Maybe it's a collection of the PMs or project accountants or whomever, if they have visibility into the invoices that are within ProNovos, or maybe it's the accounting team that goes through and updates when we expect to be paid, when we expect to make payments to our vendors or subs. But all of those updates, like I said, will update the cash flow forecast tool itself. Now, I know a pretty common question when showing off any features within ProNovos is, can we export the data? So you'll have the option over here on the right where you can export this, put it out to Excel. That way, if we just need it external, we need, you know, to send it to somebody that might not have access to ProNovos, you do have the option to export that data to Excel, and everything on the screen here will obviously show up in that document. Right.
I love it. As we know, cash is king, so this is very important.
Yes. Yes. And
Especially
one
other,
other,
me up to date. We have our nightly updates, so you know, call it 2 a.m. when you're synced, you'll be all ready to go the next day, and you know, accurate in real time.
Right. First thing in the morning, all the data is loaded in here, so hopefully that gives enough time for everyone to be able to manage this accordingly. Okay. So I know we have some other power sessions in the future to cover the payables, the collections. So we'll keep it focused more so with the cash flow forecast today. I guess we can open it up here for questions if there's, I think I see a couple in here right now. So let's take a look.
Yeah, we did get some in the chat there.
Let's see here. Yes. Yeah, like I said, the balance being more is probably due to a debit balance being in one of the line of credit accounts. So that's why it's increased. Otherwise, if it had a natural credit balance in there, we would see it eat at that number here. So another question was, can we take the customer's payment history and basically inject that into the cash flow forecast? So if we look at the AR collections, we can see that, you know, there's an invoice that, or a job that has 10 payouts in there. So if I were to click into that, it's going to show us our invoice date, our due date, right? Invoice date, due date. What we'll also see here is the project average days to pay. So if we hover over this, it'll say, all right, based on this job, the customer is paying on average 47 days past the invoice date. So what you can do is you can say, okay, maybe I want to take the guessing out of it, and I want to use the historical payment history to dictate when that payment date is going to be. So what you can do is just simply click on the date that the system will calculate for you. And that's based on all the history down here. So you can see that we've got 9 payouts that have been paid. Here's the average days to pay for each of those invoices. And that's what's going to factor into that average days to pay here. So I could just simply click it, hit save, and now I've got it updated from September 30th to, in this case, October 18th. Okay.
Awesome. I love it.
And then another question.
Yeah, looks like another one.
Yes.
Chris there.
So let's go back to the cash flow. So on the outflow, there is a payroll item in here. So what we can do is just click into it. We can say, okay, this one just ran out. As you can see, it's just only till September 30th. So if I go in here and edit this till March, we have an average payroll of $80,000 a week. Here's when we started it. Here's what we're going to have it go through, because maybe we're going to hire some people in the spring. So we can say 80,000 is going to be our weekly payroll. We can save it. And then we'll start seeing that plotted in there as well. So now when looking at those cash positions over the next 13 weeks, we can see maybe a more realistic when we're including payroll, not just simply AP, AR, and maybe some of those other one-off costs or monthly costs for rent or utilities or just anything that, you know, insurance payments. We can plot all of those items in there. So it's a great question. And like I said, any of those additional line items, we can add them right in there. Okay. All right. So if there's any other questions you guys may have, we're obviously here to address any. And I know that our next power session is scheduled for December 10th. You guys, anyone who's on the meeting should already have the invite for the next one. The next one will be December 10th, talking about the drawings features. So if you guys are interested in more of the operations side of it, document management piece of ProNovos, if maybe you have something in place, maybe you don't, but definitely check it out. Kevin, our product manager, will be running through that in 2 weeks.
Denver, did you see the question in the Q&A tab at the bottom?
So the bank balance. So the bank balances are, so these will just be based on that general ledger account as of today. Everything that's posted in there, whatever it reads in the accounting system, will be here. So this won't be the net of any outstanding payables or receivables. This is the current balance. And that's what this will show, right? If we start off with 20,000, based on all of our inflow, based on all of our outflow, here's what the cash will look like over those next 13 weeks when considering everything in the chart.
Cool. And then you see the one in the Q&A tab at the bottom, the other tab?
So that is a great question, Lisa. So on the payable side, if you do have, you know, jobs that have a lot of subcontractors on, and we're going to pay these AP invoices when the AR invoices are due, right? Now I just have to find one. Hopefully we pick a good one here. But if I pick one that's got a job, there is a section in here where you can link it to an outstanding receivable invoice. So if I were to click in here, let me try and find one. Yep. So in this case, we have our May payable, and I want to link it to, and we can pretend this says May, but we can link it to an existing receivable invoice. So what it'll do, if you hover over the question mark here, if I do link it, what it will do is it'll make the payment date of the AP invoice 7 days past the projected payment date of the billing. So if I were to link it, we can see it says June 30th. If I were to link it to this invoice here, we can see that it now has our new projected payment date of 7 days past when we expect payment for that invoice. And once again, all of this will be reflected in the cash flow forecast when those new updated dates are put into place. All right. Hopefully that
Great. Well,
answers your question, Lisa. And if there's any others, we'll be happy to stick around. And if not, appreciate everyone joining for today. And like I said, December 10th, we will do our next power session on the drawings feature of ProNovos.
I love it. We'll get an ops manager a little bit.
That's right. All right. So I don't see any new questions coming in, so I guess we can call it. And once again, we really appreciate you guys sticking around and learning more of what ProNovos has to offer. So we'll see you guys on the next one, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great Thanksgiving.
Yep. Use all Denver. Appreciate your time today.
Take care, Garrett.
Thanks, everyone. Yep. Bye.